breaking barriers and redefining leadership in aviation. In a male-dominated industry, Kanika Tekriwal has transformed private aviation while championing diversity and inclusion. JetSetGo is more than a company. It's a movement empowering women to lead and thrive. From the cockpit to the boardroom, Kanika is reshaping the narrative. As a part of our 10-year, 10-story series, Kanika shares how JetSetGo is inspiring change. Story 6: Empowering Women in Aviation.
So I think, I very often say that when I started my career in this industry, I remember walking through the Bombay private jet terminal security point and all the CISM guys asking me, "Ma'am, aap Kingfisher ke saath cabin crew ho kya?" And I used to keep looking at them like, why? And then I realized I used to be wearing so many red clothes and I always carried a red purse, which is why they thought I was a Kingfisher cabin crew, because they never imagined that a woman could be in a managerial position in this industry, right? And what a long way we've come since then. I think 16 or 17 years old then. I'm 35 now, so I think twice my age and hopefully twice as wiser. But I think for me, today one of my big major goals is to ensure that we have a very, very inclusive industry. And we've tried doing that by making sure we have more women pilots, we have more women engineers, we have more technical staff and women who are women. And more often than not, when you look for these roles and when you open listings for job openings, you don't have a lot of men apply. I mean, a lot of women apply, sorry, you have a lot of men apply. And so, I actually went and asked someone who came for an interview. I said, you just graduated 3 to 4 years back from college. How many girls were there in your class? And she said, ma'am, we had about 40% girls. I said, why is it that when we ask for resumes, we only have one girl out of 20 men and, stuff like that? And she said, because women don't think they can get these jobs. And it's a shame that, we're in a situation, we are in a situation today where you've got some very, very smart, incredible women out there who are scared to even apply. And that's what we want to change at JetSetGo. That's what I want to change at JetSetGo. I want to make sure that no girl is worried about having to go back home at 2 a.m. in the night, which is why she can't apply for a job. I think as a manager, as a leader, it's my role to provide an environment which encourages and enables all genders, all sexes. It's not only about is it safe sometimes even for a man to go home at 2 o'clock in the night. If you've got to get mugged on the road, you would get mugged on the road, right? So I think it's up to us as business owners to really provide people with an environment which enables inclusivity, which conditions inclusivity. At JetSetGo, I think one of our biggest goals is creating an inclusive workspace, creating diversity. We've taken some very tall pledges where we want to put one woman in every cockpit, where we want to ensure that we have a equally diverse workforce of 50% men, 50% women. And we're still trying to get there. I'm not saying we're there, but I still think we're better off than a lot of others. I had an ex-employee speak with me yesterday, and she told me that, ma'am, I want to come back and join you simply because the place I'm at, I'm expected to be at work till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It's normal. And she's not in a pilot role, she's not in an engineer's role, she's in a commercial, client servicing role. And that's where I see the difference that we can make, I mean, this is something that people can do from home. Why should women have to worry about, taking maternity leave? Why should women have to worry about having to outperform men? I don't think roles should be selected on gender. I often, like I said, I was speaking on a panel today, and I remember mentioning the situation where early on in my career, I would walk into, a room full of suits where I was the only skirt, and a room full of bald head where I was the only one with long, beautiful hair. And I used to have a lot of fun doing that. But, in hindsight, when I look back, it also did jitter me a little bit. A lot of people would think I'm someone's assistant, someone's secretary. And I think that's what we're here to change, that we're here to prove that women can run, own, and lead businesses, whether they're aviation, technical, non-technical, medicine. And I mean, look at the way India is progressing. I think I always say there's no better time to be a woman than now in this country. If you've got the lethal combination of being young, being a woman, and being in a technical space, you've got all right for yourself. So I think for us as a company today, we've got a great team who understands this. It's not only as me as a leader who preaches this, but we've got a team who believes in this vision. And we've got a team who believes in making this happen. And, I feel really good when someone comes up to me and says, ma'am, I'm hiring these 4 people and 3 of them are women out of that. which goes to show that, it's not something which I am only working on because I'm a woman, but also goes to show that, choices are being made not irrespective of gender. I think at JetSetGo, I didn't want to build a company. I wanted to build a legacy, and this legacy had to be a very inclusive, diverse legacy, which enabled and encouraged people. I want young women to, look at the people in this company, to look at the pilots who fly us, to look at the engineers who work with us, and say that, look, I want to be that pilot, I want to be that engineer, I want to be that when I grow up. A lot of times, kids who've traveled with their parents on our planes get my number, call me and say, Auntie, can I speak to that pilot? Can I speak to that engineer? I want to learn all about flying. And it gives me so much pleasure to hear that, because I think that's what we want to do. We want to set a new benchmark where no career is unobtainable and no objective is unachievable just because you're a woman. I think, a lot of times I get asked that, was being a woman in aviation challenging? And I think there are both sides to the coin. So I remember walking into the government offices, into the regulator's office, etc., and calling everyone Bhaiya, sir, uncle, and getting my work done. And they would actually do it because they all wanted to help a young girl out. So where was the challenge? But on the other side, a lot of people didn't really take me seriously. I entered the industry, I started this company at the age of 21. And I had this lethal combination at that time of being a girl, being in aviation, and being young, which right now works really well. But at that time, it was the worst combination to have, to be honest. So it wasn't just starting a business, it was fighting a battle, it was fighting challenges, waking up in the morning with an agenda to make sure people take you seriously, not only just focusing on building a business plan, executing. But my first agenda used to be, I used to dress like older than my age. And I think it was a battle, which I never really considered a battle. But now when I look back, there were tough times, but I think I kind of enjoyed them. I think most importantly, empowering women is just not about giving them a seat at the table. It's about letting them redesign, rethink, and recreate the whole table together.